Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Jason Deitch, founder of Amplified, and I want to welcome you to a conversation with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Bai. Dan, how you doing today?
Hey, Jason. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
I'm doing really well. Thank you for making some time. Let me introduce you, and let's get really right into it. My buddy Dan basically is the co-founder of the Everest Bootcamp. I personally have never attended it, although we've spoken on the same platform. And the reason I feel so comfortable, saying welcome to the family and, thanks for everything is that between, my great friend Brad Glowacki and literally hundreds of some of my closest friends who are practicing chiropractors who have attended your boot camps and have attended lots of different programs, but really rave about what you teach as something unique, different, and I dare say, most importantly, effective. So I asked to do this with you so that I really could give, the people that I have as part of Amplified some insights directly from you about what you're saying, what you're doing, what you're teaching. That's helping so many of my friends, whether you want to call it conversion or closes, or basically get people who come into your office say yes to your care. That's the bottom line, right?
That's the bottom line, Jason. Before I start, I want to thank you for having me. I've been following you for a while, and what you're doing is absolutely impeccable. So good job to you, and keep up the good work.
Appreciate it.
All right, so Everest Boot Camps. I mean, we can go on all day about this, but I'll just make it very simple. We are going to help docs focus on the single biggest thing that we're lacking in our profession, and that right now is a bottom line. I believe that we have been chiseled as a profession since the very beginning. That we believe in what we do, we're passionate about what we do, but for some reason something doesn't click where we now allow the marketplace to dictate what we are providing. And from where I came from, I just see our forefathers that essentially spent time in jail to protect, this glorious thing called chiropractic to be chiseled where it's either not going to be utilized or it's being cheapened every single day. And I think we've had enough of that. Yeah. So what we do at Everest Boot Camps is really simple. We literally handhold docs from start to finish on the process in which someone comes in that has no idea about you, chiropractic, whatever. And at the end of the process, they're saying, I get it, I want it, I need it, and I'm willing to pay for it. It's really quite simple. Now, what we're teaching is a sales process, if I may use a really bad word, a sales process that every industry understands and embraces as the art of the sales process, except for our profession. Yeah. And I think it's because we have gotten so jaded by this whole thing called selling. Now, selling is not bad. If you sell bad things, selling is bad.
Well, just so you know, and for everybody else, selling is service. If you believe in what you're doing, and if you're a chiropractor who doesn't believe in what you do, that's maybe another seminar and another issue. But that you're really addressing an important point, which is when I say my friends come to see you, these are passionate, principled, dedicated chiropractors that get it. And if anything, that's almost harder for us because we're so passionate and we so want people to understand it that sometimes we actually maybe are a little overzealous. And that's really why I think one of the things I've picked up from what you're teaching is, if anything, how to hold back some of that over-enthusiasm, because, the way I've always sort of thought about it was you can be right or you can be effective. And you're teaching people how to be effective at getting people who come into your office to say yes to your care. And that is an essential step that most docs miss. You and I both know, but just to sort of bring the conversation with the audience, getting people in your door is only part of the equation. If they don't stick around, right, what real good is that? So do you want to share some of the specifics? Or I know you'll teach it obviously in more detail, but just for those that maybe haven't been introduced to you, what are some of the specifics that they should know? Or maybe what are some tips they can start maybe applying and kind of go, wait a minute, this works, I want to do more?
Sure, and I'll be happy to drop some really cool things. And I love what you just said, is that we get so passionate about what we do that essentially what happens is that our passion gets in the way of the connection.
Yeah.
And I have a motto that says, the more you can be less of a chiropractor, the more you'll be more of one.
Yeah.
And in our marketplace right now, people are really sophisticated. And if you've been in practice for any length of time, you do understand, even 5 years ago, people are asking different questions than they are now. They're much more sophisticated. They know what's going on. So we have to meet them at their level. And what we're really teaching is how to think, but not only do, but think from the perspective of your prospective, which is the person in front of you. Because if you cannot see how they're viewing this from the outside in, from a bird's eye view, we will really never have a chance at connecting with the masses, Jason. I'm not just talking about one or two people.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the masses. So I always say prospectively, if you have a camera in your office in the corner, you want to be talking to your new patient like you're watching it from a third person. And if you can do that effectively, that's the first step. But in terms of particulars about boot camp, it's really quite simple. You show up, we drill you for 2 days, we tell you what to say, we tell you how to say it, okay? And then we show you the process from start to finish, okay? Now, I can only teach what I do. So we're not going to be teaching you theory. We're not going to be teaching you things that sound good on paper, because Jason, you and I both know that things that look good on paper never really pan out when it's put into practice. So we're going to show you what you do. However, it doesn't matter what type of practice you have. That's a big question I have. I have an activator practice. I have a Gonstead practice. It doesn't matter. We always say we're non-denominational. We have actually docs who are calling us from different disciplines, like functional medicine docs, orthodontists, plastic surgeons, especially cash-based healthcare providers. And right now we're exclusively for the chiropractic profession because that's what I am. But that can be applied to pretty much proposing any type of healthcare service across the board. We have no contracts. There's no, yearly commitments. And the reason we do that is because I never liked that. I never liked to be contracted into a thing. So we don't do that. We're a hit and run. You come in, you do our thing, and you're out. If you want some more, we have some stuff available for you, but only if you want it. So again, it's a boot camp. It's not a seminar. What we're going to do is we're going to sit there with your limited numbers of docs, maybe 50 to 60 docs per boot camp, because we're going to be wanting to share and sit with you knee to knee and go through this process with you. And a lot of our docs, if not all, learn while they're there, because we all know, Jason, what happens when you get back to the office on Monday, right? It's like the notes go on the shelf. It's like it never happened. And that's just from my experience in seminars. So what we try to do is take a typical learning experience of a typical seminar, flip it upside down, and we do everything opposite. And so far, I guess the proof is in the pudding. It's been working really well.
So people will literally, there's not a go home and go back and then learn it. When you leave, you will have learned it, practiced it, asked the questions, screwed it up perhaps, and then made it right, so that you can really hit the ground on Monday implementing what it is you've really already practiced and so on.
Yes, and that's the key here, because there's nothing gets more exciting and enthusiastic for a doc to implement what they've done, they've learned on a weekend, on Monday. Yeah. And seeing the generation of the results from that. Either you close a tough case that you normally would never have closed. And for example, these are the cases that come in right off the bat. It's like, I'm not coming in more than once every month. I'm not going to pay more than $10 a visit. And it totally derails the practitioner. Yep. And when you start closing and converting those, you're onto something. I just had a patient recently, Medicaid. Okay, Jason, Medicaid. And they sat and they understood the value and they figured out a way to pay for it. Now, I say, if people have cable TV at home, they can afford your care. So it's not about the price. It's about their perceived value of the said service or product that makes them want to buy. And we were consumers before we were salespeople, right? So we understand how we buy. Unfortunately, when we get in front of our communities, we forget how consumer thinks. And that's what boot camps are really all about.
Yeah. You said something I just want to also reiterate here, which is that this is not a come and then, have some sort of pitch fest where you then have to sign up for something even more in order to get, the result. That's an option, but basically, I'm assuming this is true, but just to clarify, you go, you learn, that's it. You want to keep on learning, that's fine. I do know people that keep going to refine their skills and then who become part of your community to really sort of just keep sharpening the blade, for lack of a better way of saying it. You have a great community of people, which I think is awesome, and also a testament to the fact that people really not just learn it and move on, but learn it and all of a sudden embrace a new way of thinking. How would you, everybody kind of goes, okay, so what's your gimmick? What's your trick or what's your hook? I don't believe that most things that are sustainable are based on gimmicks and hooks. So what's the basis or foundation? Is it really about how do you communicate value for your care?
Yeah, it's actually pretty strategic
Mm-hmm.
and follows an algorithm. For those logical people out there, it does follow that, but it also it's a headspace thing as well. When you understand that there's a specific way that you should talk to your patients and that you should not say. Let me give you a prime example. I went to Life, the home of the dropping keys. Sid Williams all the way, man. If you ever tell a patient up front, hey, chiropractic doesn't heal anything, you see, you're already one step out. See, philosophically, Jason, you and I understand that concept, and we could talk about that and over some whiskey and just pound that one down, right? But from the perspective of your prospective, see, that doesn't make any sense. You're out of agreement. So that's just one example. But if we have a certain way we do things, systematized in terms of how we take care of our patient, number one, your stress goes down because you don't have to think about, what am I going to do for this one? I'm going to do A, B, C for this guy. The next guy, I'm going to do X, Y, Q, exclamation point. We're all over the place. We're stressed out of our minds because we don't know where to go with this. It adds stress. And I got to tell you, stress in a practice will kill it.
Yeah.
Practice should be fun. You should know what you're doing. You should be able to predict these outcomes. And in terms of gimmicks, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, so we teach docs what to say. And then after you own that, then you put yourself into it. Then it becomes organic and it becomes you. And that's the whole point.
I love it. The other thing I'll just point out to everybody listening, a couple things. One, this leads to much greater profitability in your practice, and I see what goes on. I've got a lot of good friends who suffer these issues, that they're great chiropractors, principled, philosophic, terrific adjusters, but they struggle in this very, very specific part, and so they're really not earning the level of income that they should. And the byproduct of all of that, of personal stress, of emotions, of self-esteem, of being able to provide for your family, retirement, I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. So, there is a dual benefit here. One, you're serving more people who then have access to chiropractic care, who had you not taken the time to, I tend to use the word inspire them to say yes, they would not receive your care, but you're also really doing a lot for yourself and your family by increasing your profitability. And I dare say I'll take that the next step, which is, I'm involved in so many projects that relate to growing the profession, and practitioners need to be making some money in order to be able to give back. And so, these are all essential things that just make really the world a better and bigger place. So it's self-service, it's generous for your community, and it also, serves the profession in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, and we ain't shy about saying that you need to make money.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, especially when we provide the best healthcare product in the world.
Yeah.
But we need revenue. That's what's going to change. It's what's going to shift it. That's just how it works. If we have docs that are consistently living in their parents' basement, living check to check, driving a 15-year-old car,
yeah,
it's just not going to make the difference. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I know those people as well. And the other thing I think is, and you talked about sort of attitude and so on, it's more fun to win. It is just more fun when you have more people saying yes, than more people saying no. And just the spiral, whatever, the pathway of no, 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 yes, 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 is contagious both ways. So,
absolutely.
That's really why I wanted to reach out. The other thing I did for my amplified people was, you had said, we've got a variety of events coming up. I think you know, and if anybody's held a party or an event, that the sooner people RSVP and say yes, the better it is for everybody. To the point that I actually know from seminars I both attended and helped run before, that the seminar sort of starts when you say yes.
Right.
And so when you make the commitment to say, yes, I'm signing up, I'm doing it now, I'm going to reserve my hotel room, I'm going to reserve my plane ticket, there's something energetically that happens that when people make that commitment for themselves, But I did ask you, I said, would you give me something as an incentive to our people to get them to say yes sooner rather than if you can wait till the last minute, we often do.
Right.
And so you did. So I just want to let everybody know that we have a promo code. You'll see all the details, within the captions, within the website, and so on. We have a special amplified promotion code that will give you a special incentive to say yes today, not to wait till the last minute. Dan, just some closing comments as to, let's get people signing up, getting there, and most importantly, getting results so that they can be serving more people and really get into that upward spiral of success.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Success leaves clues, right? And all the docs that have been through our program and are doing great, they made a commitment to say, you know what, I've had enough of mediocrity or struggling, and I'm going to take a chance here, and I'm going to get there, and I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to just surrender to the process. And that's what we're asking you to do, because it's the stuff, the info is just that good. All right. And you know what, in terms of the act now, I mean, every day that anyone waits, as far as I'm concerned, you're leaving lives and money on the table, flat out. And there's so many great chiropractors out there that are consistently getting these no's, and that's a crying shame. There's nothing worse than a great chiropractor saying, why is everyone saying no to me? I believe it's about time that we stop that.
Yeah.
So the promo code is just for your Amplified group, which I'm a big fan of.
Thank you.
And just get in there and just say, I'm going to do it. Stick the promo code in and you're good to go.
Dynamite. Well, I don't do these videos for everyone. I do them for the people that I trust, love, respect, and authentically am willing to say, go. There is no risk as far as I'm concerned. It's only upside. So, Dan, thanks for being here. Thanks for what you do. Thanks for the incentive for my people. And if you're watching, listen, if you want to, I don't care where you are, if you're just getting started or if you're, an expert who just wants to take it to the next level and really serve more. There are a lot of people I know who are, I would even call them seminar leaders and, experts in practice who attend your practice and come back to me and go, that was so valuable. The distinctions, the tweaks, what I learned from a different perspective was essential. So I can't say enough. Get there, go, be part of the process, and really start serving more people, make more money, enjoy more life, give back more. It's just a win all the way around.
Awesome. Jason, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for watching, everyone. Get started. I'll see you in an upcoming workshop as well. And, of course, thanks for being part of the Amplified family.